Hello friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
What's up, Levi?
What's up, Jen? Today, we are playing through the Aurum Vale optional dungeon. Thank you to the listeners, Catherine Wolfshead and Athena Kylo, who joined us today.
Yeah, another fun run.
Another fun run.
We died a lot.
We did in one
weird.
place,
really
and then
weird.
It was pretty smooth. Well, it was a minimum eye level run, of course, and Jen thankfully stepped up to fill the healer role.
Thankfully.
She's not the step Jen, she's the Jen that stepped up.
What the fuck is that even from?
You never heard the I'm not the stepdad, I'm the dad that stepped up?
I've never heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like...
I even have a stepdad. Never heard of that.
I think it's like a dad flex
I can
thing.
see that on like a t-shirt.
Yes, it has been on a t-shirt.
Okay.
No joke.
Yeah. If like you're a step parent and you stepped up, or like one of your step kids gave you that shirt, that's fucking amazing. Congrats to you. I just never heard of it.
I see. Well, joke flopped for Jen. Hopefully not for all listeners. Anyway, yeah. Jen stepped up to be the healer this run, and Jen has not typically healed, so we're all very thankful for her.
That's a very diplomatic way of saying Jen never heals. Jen avoids healing at all costs.
You're just a DPS at heart. I understand.
That's it. I'm like, I'm gonna hit a what's the one, the replenish, the
Regen?
Yes.
Sadly, Regen will not cut it in a minimum eye level boss fight.
Nope.
Either way, though, we got the clear. Jen did great.
No, it was great. Everybody did a really good job, and they were very patient with me, and everybody ate their fruit like they were supposed to, except for me that one time. After the boss died, and I'm like, on to the next area. I'm like, oh shit, and I died because I didn't eat the fruit.
Eat your fruits and veggies, Jen.
I know.
Typical doctor, not taking her own advice. Doctors are the worst patients.
Am I a doctor because I'm a healer?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That's 0 for 2 so far.
No, like how... It's
Much like Jen's
like,
healing record this dungeon.
It's like when you're on a plane, you know, you put the kid's mask on before your own. You know, we're always trying to make sure that everybody else is good before we take care of ourselves. It's pretty
there
typical.
There you go. That's much more charitable. So, Aurum Vale, level 47 optional dungeon in Coerthas Central Highlands. This is another dungeon that is on the promotion track for the Grand Companies. So you'll have to complete your Grand Companies quest to clear the dungeon in order to reach the upper ranks of your GC. Aurum is Latin for gold. The place was initially thought to be a bountiful source of mythril, but eager miners instead found it full of what they thought to be gold. But they were going to be disappointed twice, as the yellow stuff in the veins was not gold, but an acrid poisonous substance that they would name goldbile. This is a substance that's produced through an intermingling of mithril and sulfur. So there may have been mithril in here at some point, maybe there still is deep inside the earth, but that sulfur has made it this piss hole of Aurum Vale instead.
Piss hole. Wow. That's a horrible word. Like, shut up, piss hole. Like, that sounds really bad.
This is also called, like, the P Dungeon 2, much like people like to call the Yell chat, the yellow default chat, piss chat. Have you never heard this before?
No, what's yellow
Where
chat
have
mode?
you been, Jen? Holy shit.
I don't know.
Well,
doing shit.
So for the uninitiated...
You mean shout?
No. Wild tangent. But there are 3 chat modes that don't require you to be partied or like / telling someone directly or whatever. So anyone can hear them if they're in the vicinity. There's say, of course, which is white text by default and says text to people in your immediate adjacency. Yell is the middle ground. This is a yellow chat by default / yell. And this will send your text to people in the rough area around you. It's bigger than a say, smaller than a shout. And then / shout will broadcast your text to the entire zone you're in. And that is orange by default. So people don't use yell very much. Honestly, I don't see much point because the zones are so small anyway. Like, why bother?
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So people call Yale Chat Piss Chat, and people call Aurum Vale Piss Vale or P Vale sometimes because of the dominant color scheme of this place.
Oh, well, sure. There's literal puddles of pee everywhere.
The puddles are goldbile, Jen.
Oh. I know that.
Okay. I don't know what you know at this point, honestly.
Oh my God.
Jen has never heard of /yell, so
like
anything
you said,
is possible.
It's very rarely used. I can't remember the last time I saw any text that was yellow. That was somebody was saying stuff. It's always like say because people are, RPing and or it's shout because people want you to buy their gold or something.
It's most often used in my experience in Limsa because of course it is. Well, way off track. Okay. The gold bile, yes, it is what happens to mythril when sulfur seeps in. And then it turns into this poisonous yellow substance that is all over the place in Aurum Vale. This will poison you if you step in it. This will emit noxious fumes if you breathe it in. It's a bad time altogether. However, despite the gruesome death that awaits people going into this poison cave hole, miners still try and find this promised mythril deep inside there, and they die. And the guy outside the front gate of this place is real sick of people walking in and dying, but he won't stop you if you really want in.
That's all of them so far.
Yep. We hear about this opportunity from Nedrick Ironheart in Vesper Bay, our Scion's side quest hookup. He doesn't tell you any of the stuff about the gold bile, whatever. He's like, hey, you're getting pretty famous around here. How about you check out this new place to go and kill stuff? Oh, and by the way, tell the guard at the entrance that Nedrick sent you over. So this has me feeling like Nedrick's getting like a commission or something every time he sends someone over here because he doesn't tell you at all about the health hazards. He's like, go here, tell this guy I sent you, make sure I get my referral bonus, and that's it. And this suspicion is reinforced to me because when we get to Aurum Vale, Willielmus says, Hail, wait, don't tell me, Nedrick sent you.
Yikes.
So we're not the special guy that got tapped for the special job. We're adventurer number 10, 20, whatever.
Good for Nedrick,
He's grinding.
I wonder how he's getting paid, but whatever. Apparently he's getting paid.
There might be like a bounty. This ultimately benefits Ishgard.
That seems like an Ishgard fucking thing to do. Okay, so let's send a bunch of random ass non-Ishgardian adventurers in here to see if there's any mithril worth digging.
Yeah. So they pay Nedrick 1,000 gil a head.
That's problematic.
Just picking up on the subtext here. Thankfully, Willielmus does warn us about the noxious gases inside and tells us that they will burn our lungs out if we go in. But hey, it's your funeral. And the only possible explanation I can think of, and this was mentioned in our chat today as well, was maybe the blessing of light protects us from dying from gold bile fumes.
Maybe? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I died to something.
So, ignoring all warnings, we enter the dungeon. The air in here is tainted a pervasive yellow. It feels like you're going to die just being in here. As soon as we come into the cave and descend down a small path, we enter the shit, which is a massive room with pools full of glowing yellow liquid, geysers shooting out yellow gas, and thick, stocky plants that glow yellow. Yellow. If you step in the pools, you get a gold bile debuff, which deals damage over time. And this first room is the doozy of the dungeon.
This is like if you've done the dungeon a million times, to just hug the left wall to try to not proc everybody.
It's the frogs, of course, again. Just like in Zamael.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks you in with his tongue, and then oops, you aggroed like 3 groups.
Yeah, though surprisingly we didn't die here, right?
No, we did not.
Okay.
So I was tanking on Paladin, Jin was healing on White Mage, we had Catherine on Red Mage, and Athena on Dragoon. And I was being very careful to pull the toads one at a time.
Nice job.
Thanks, Jin. In general, it's rough. minimum eye level, especially rough. I didn't want to do the predictable thing, so we made it through room 1, no problem. Beyond the frogs here, there are also toadstools, leaf traps, and jellyfish. The last ones are called veil wasps. And if we survive the first room, we land immediately at the first boss, the locksmith, which is a giant ochu. And all the names here are themed around gold and money, of course. So this guy is like the opening into the rest of the dungeon.
Yep.
And we died here a few times.
It was really hard. And it was like, okay, if I kept you topped off, then I was dying. And I'm like, oh shit, that's right. I have to keep myself alive. Duh. But, everybody's all getting all up in there and getting biled to death. And like, I don't heal ever. So it's just, I'm just throwing around a bunch of regens. And then I forgot, oh, right, Medica, right? I could do all y'all at the same time. And then it's also like level 47, and I just gotten like Arrow 2, and I just got Holy. I'm like, all right, I can use Holy. Cool. So I used that a couple times, but then I forgot about that, and I was just stone. All right, Holy. God, it's just I was learning on the job, which sometimes you got to do it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's great if you're doing like your fates and like Shadowbringer or whatever. That's easy to use, because I've been trying to level up White Mage on my other character. She's like level 87, and I'm just running around trying to like do all my fates, just fate. So I'm using Holy a lot, and not necessarily as relevant in Aurum Vale.
It's relevant. It's good.
It did stuff.
So this boss's one mechanic that really matters is called Gold Lung. And it will, on occasion, pulse out this big yellow wave, which hits all characters in the room and gives them a stacking debuff called Gold Lung. This does damage over time. 1 stack, not a big deal. 3 stacks, getting to be a big deal. However...
3 stacks, you will die. Handle that shit. Eat your fruit. Go, there's little sparkly bits all around the arena. Go eat it.
These are marble fruits, which they look like little kind of...
Eggplants?
Yeah, eggplants. I saw them as pears in my first glance, but either way, they're like kind of heavy-bottomed, narrow-necked plants with spots on them. And what's fucked up, though, is that these are baby marbles, because we get bigger marble fruits later on that are ripe to hatch. Apparently, eating a baby marble will cure you of the gold lung.
Yikes.
Also surprising, doesn't give us like a parasite or something, frankly, but no. It's good for you.
It's fucked up. Though we can assume they have not yet achieved sentience at that stage. So
honestly, I don't know if marbles are ever sentient.
Just running off of like pure reflex, like a Venus flytrap.
I'm guessing they have more than that because they are ambulatory too.
Right, and they'll also like follow you around. Like, oh, you're the asshole. I'm going to follow you. As opposed to... But
we don't know. They could be a full civilization of terrible gas monsters. I don't know. Big marble fruit is keeping the truth from us, so we keep eating their goods.
Big marble. Just a big boardroom somewhere with a bunch of marbles hanging around it with the ties on.
Yeah.
And bar graphs.
So we eat our fruit, clear our debuffs, and we're good to go. And as... Catherine noted, things get much easier after this first stretch here.
God, thank God.
Yeah. So the next room, we get our first actual full-grown marble of the dungeon. It's surrounded by seedlings, which are recently hatched marbles. So they're little cute guys, about Lalafell-sized, and we kill them.
Yes.
And we kill the other marble fruits, which are ripe to hatch. There's maybe, I'd call it like a 10-second timer, roughly, before they hatch after you disturb them. So if you can burn the pod down before then, fantastic.
Holy.
If you can holy the pod down, fantastic. Otherwise, they'll hatch and give you another baby marble seedling to deal with. And then we have one full-grown marble in this room as well. Once we defeat it, then these vines which entwine the room's exit will unwind, letting you pass forward.
Yeah. I gotta kill all the things.
And then we are out of the shit for a little bit. Do some cool, breezy stone caverns, just a few yellow glowing pools to mix things up.
Ah, like a breath of fresh air. Yeah, some of the mob pools still gave me a fucking hard time, and I appreciate everybody accommodating that pacing.
Like, great, Jen.
No, like we made it through. It was great. It wasn't a nightmare or anything, but it was still like, no one likes to die.
No more wipes after that first boss.
Yeah. And honestly, it did get so much easier after that. That fight was really rough. But it's a new mechanic also. The whole like, debuff, eat your shit. I remember the first couple of times I did that as a brand new player, sometimes people will tell you. Sometimes they won't. So I think it was on my third attempt at this dungeon when somebody was like, oh yeah, you got to eat the fruit. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And that's when I learned like what a debuff was and where it showed up and how I could look for it. And like, you don't know what you don't know. It's a blind spot.
The debuff mechanic in this game is kind of criminal in terms of how little they show you those things when they matter so much. Some will have a literal paragraph of text explaining the mechanic, and it's this little tiny pop-up in the corner by default.
Yes, especially when some of them have timers. I think that's more advanced content that when they give you timers on that shit.
Yeah.
But anyway.
After we get past the yellow zone, we run into some Bane mites now, the scorpion guys, and we fight through them along with a couple ghosts.
Peanuts.
Yes, the peanuts. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jen.
Mm-hmm. The deadly peanuts.
Jen read the peasant, like mournful peasant, as mournful peanut.
Yeah. And it made the losses that much more insulting.
So we get past those guys, and we reach our second boss, which is a cyclops called Coin Counter. This guy wields a big spiked club. He's called Coin Counter by the adventurers who may have come in here and then fled before they died later on or something. As far as I know, he does not count coins. He's the one who kind of checkpoints access to the promised riches deeper within. This guy's pretty basic, though, honestly. He's a nice kind of breath of fresh air.
Yeah, the atmosphere is less oppressive. The foggy, smoky poison isn't there. It feels just better to move around. But like he's got some pretty classic mechanics that will persist throughout the game forever and ever. So like the swing and the
swipe.
Swing and swipe.
He also has an eye beam, so he does like a line AoE directly in front of him. And he has one distinct maneuver called Eye of the Beholder, which is like a 3/4 ring AoE. He will telegraph and hit everything to his sides and in front of him at medium range. If you're far away or close in, you will not be hit.
Yeah, he'll leave like a 45-degree opening behind him.
And the animation for this, once it resolves, is he will take his eye and blast a beam and kind of carve it in a semicircle around him.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool move.
Yep.
That would be great for a blue mage to have.
Not hard to avoid, just it's a different mechanic and different pattern than we see usually.
Yeah. Also, this guy looks like a classic, like, Greek mythology Cyclops.
Yep.
Is it Greek or is it Roman?
Greek.
Okay.
Both also, maybe?
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, if, Disney animated a Cyclops, this is what it would look like.
I'm sure they did in the Hercules movie. I'd be surprised if there weren't a Cyclops there.
No, there definitely was. But hilariously, I don't think you know what? I'm gonna have to look it up because it's been a lot of years since I saw that movie. No, I think he looked very similar to that. Yeah, he was really sloppy though. It looked like he was made out of dough. Like literally his skin was melting. He was just such a sloppy, big.
Let's see, a sloppy bitch.
A sloppy bitch. Don't remember if he had like cloven hooves, like a satyr. This guy did. Yeah, like classic looking.
Coin Counter has hooves. I don't know about the Disney Cyclops that we are speculating about without having seen the movie from years and years.
Yep.
Anyway, we press on and we start seeing more marbles again, more hints of the goldbile. The next room has a horde of seedlings and then also more marble fruits and 2 full-grown marbles.
Holy.
We have to take them out before the vines that block the next exit will unentangle.
Holy.
From that point, we fight one more pack of Bane mites and we are at the final boss. The final boss is a extra large marble named Miser's Mistress. Again, keeping the theme. I'm assuming the dungeon itself is the miser holding back that sweet, sweet mythril. And she's the mistress of the dungeon.
Pulling the purse strings,
yeah.
So to speak.
Like the first boss, The Mistress will put a stacking debuff on you. This one is called Hooked Burrs. Same effect really, it does damage over time. You eat the fruit to clear the debuff. That's pretty basic. But this fight is almost the same thing as the Ochu fight, as the locksmith fight, except this Morble has bad breath, the cone attack that gives you every debuff in the game. So that's always fun.
Oh, dude. Okay, so we were moving from earlier in the run, moving from one area to the next, and Athena got hit with one of these, and I'm still reeling from the first boss fight where we died a billion times, and suddenly I look up and I see she's got 7 goddamn debuffs on her. I'm like, Athena, oh my god! I'm just like, Asuna, 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 Asuna. Don't do that to your healer. It's terrible. It was not a problem, but I just thought it was hilarious. It looks terrifying.
I love it. It's so funny whenever someone gets hit by that, just because it just fills
all
the
the
screen
debuffs
full
ever.
of...
Yeah, I'm like, girl, look at this lineup you have right now. This is ridiculous. It's great.
Besides that move, the Mistress will also... It's usually only 1 point during the fight for most groups, but with our min eye level group, it was 2 points actually during the fight. It will drop a circle of the bigger ripe to burst Morble fruits around it, and then you have to burn them down before they hatch. You have to holy them down before they hatch. Otherwise, you'll have a pile of adds at your feet on top of the boss. But we defeat the boss and eat our fruit, and the dungeon is cleared. So this is another kind of like why bother type dungeon to me. Yes, we have gone through and we have removed the majority of the pests in the dungeon. Sure. But then what exactly? Like, are you going to send more miners down there to die and maybe find some mithril or gold or something? You know, like
Yes.
there's no glittering treasure at the final room or whatever that gives you a promise.
That we know of.
Yes. Chasing that dream.
Maybe they just needed us to go in there. You know, the whole light bringer to go in and for once and for all, unequivocally say, nope. I mean, go back to Nedrick and say like, nope. Stop sending adventurers to their deaths, all right? Stop being the little like right-handed shitfug, the Salacious Bee Crumb for the Ishgardian, the Holy See, the powers that be, sending everybody else off to their deaths. Because they hate everybody because they're Ishgardians. That's really rude. A lot of Ishgardians are fantastic, but the rest of them are religious extremists, and that's a problem.
I kind of wonder what we do actually accomplish by going through here, though. Like
okay, no. Like I said at the very end, I'm like, that is a hell of a crucible. It's a crucible for tanking, for DPSing, for healing. It is a major, like, check your shit, get good, kind of dungeon run. Because it's not easy.
So would you say that the real treasure was inside us all along? And we find it at the end when we have matured as adventurers.
Yes.
Okay, we found the treasure of Aurum Vale. It is us.
Getting good.
The treasure is getting good.
Sorry, you guys.
This is a later recording session than we do normally.
Yeah, I'm like 2 beers in. So.
And now you've got a margarita.
This is a leftover margarita from yesterday.
Day-old margarita and 2 beers.
Well, it's not like I'm going to pour it down the sink. I'm going to put it away in the fridge and have it later.
Otherwise, though, this dungeon is, I think, a lot of fun. I have run it a bit too many times because this was featured on multiple of the Mog Tome events, which are like the go grind out some content for a bit and get some fun items to fill the lull between patches.
Yeah.
Bit of a tangent, but there is always something that the blue mage community will find optimized during one of those things and determined to be the best way to get Mog Tomes fast with OP blue mage abilities. And Aurum Vale was definitely the winner when this was an option for past Mog Tomes. So you could clear this thing in 4 minutes, synced from start to finish with a party of blue mages that had their shit down.
Oh, yeah. Very satisfying. That shit is whack. You can do synced dungeons and just annihilate everything in your path if you get the right rotation of spells down. It's bonkers. It's so fun.
And we, of course, will be talking about Blue Mage too. That's coming up
Someday.
But anyway, though, yes. So I have seen this dungeon dozens of times from getting those tomes. But this was a nice, refreshing breath of foul air because unlike those where it's go as fast as possible, break the dungeon with your blue mage abilities, this was, okay, so you're forced to have your scrub gear every inch you're going to work for. Like, it's a different lens for the dungeon entirely, and it was a lot of fun.
For sure. Just like old times.
Just like old times.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments on Aurum Vale Gin?
I won't be healing that again. No, I should. It's a really good learning tool, unfortunately.
Well, thank you again to Catherine and Athena for joining us.
A word. Yep. Good shit. Good glams.
Next time, we are continuing the main story, playing up to the quest, A Hero in Need.
And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you again to Kathy and Athena for joining us on the fun run. So if you want to know who these people are, get in the Discord, check the show notes, blah, blah, blah. It's just a good community. People are sharing their experiences going through the game the first time or reminiscing about when they first started and sharing pictures of their experience. It's just like whatever. Like, get up in there. It's great. Or you can email us at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. And with that, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode and have a good day or night. And we will see you next time.